Well, it's back, so let's talk impeachment. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar, and welcome back to Big Discussions. As you can see, this video is entitled Rules of Impeachment. So we're going to go into a little bit of current events here and politics. And I want to start off by saying, first of all, I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. So I like to think I sit somewhere in the middle, and I don't have an allegiance to either side. And politics right now is so divisive and so polarizing that I tend to be careful about talking about these topics. But I want to, when I can approach these things from more of a scholarly, educational perspective, I like to do that, and I think this particular topic will allow me to do that, and I hope you will think so as well when this video is done. I want to thank and salute everyone who has subscribed to the channel recently. I have picked up quite a few subscribers since the last video, or should I say the second to last video. And interestingly, that second to last video was about my Michigan Wolverines getting destroyed up in Madison, Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium by the Wisconsin Badgers. So I thought that my Donald Trump Representative Elijah Cummings Baltimore video, okay, let me go back. That Donald Trump Elijah Cummings in Baltimore video prior to my Michigan losing to Wisconsin video, that was my best performing video. But my video on Michigan getting blasted by Wisconsin, that has surpassed my Donald Trump Elijah Cummings Baltimore video. It's at what? It's at least approaching 500 views, which for me is a big deal because my channel is still new and I'm small, and there are tons of comments there. And so I don't know. I mean, what does that mean? It's good when Michigan loses, or is it good when that our program is kind of in turmoil now, or does this mean that Coach Harbaugh is more hated than President Trump? I don't know, but it has gotten me quite a few more subscribers. So thank you all for coming on board. As I always say, my channel jumps around a little bit. My main areas are education, science, money, and sometimes current events. And right now, this one is going to delve into a current event. So, impeachment has crept back into, it's popped back up. And I think Nancy Pelosi has agreed to open an inquiry on impeachment. And so the two images you saw at the opening of this video were of an article, which I'm going to read, which talks about impeachment, and the other one was a tweet by President Trump. As I said in my Baltimore Trump and Elijah Cummings video, I think his tweets are hilarious. They make me laugh, in addition to all the commenters under his tweets. And this particular tweet might be my favorite because he, I think there was some kind of scandal with planes, maybe one of his planes landing at an Air Force base. And so President Trump, he responded, I've heard stories about one of my planes landing at an Air Force base, and then at the end of it it says, in all caps, has nothing to do with me. So, you know, he's kind of talking about this thing, but at the end, in all caps, he really tries to explain it away, and just tries to say this has nothing to do with me. So I just thought I'd share that for shits and giggles. So, and this is public knowledge. It's on Twitter, so it's public and it's nothing confidential. Anyway, let's dive in. I've made a commitment to making my videos when I can, nice and crisp. So let's see if I can get in and out with this one pretty quickly. So, one more thing about peaches. I was eating a peach in the opening of this video, and I talk about my dad sometimes. I've made some videos about him, and my dad loves peach products, peach high C, peach pie, anything peach. So anyway, let's dive in. So before I read this article, let's get a quick definition of impeachment from Merriam. I believe this is Merriam and Webster. So impeachment, and this word, it's important to understand the word because it's been thrown around so much. The media's throwing it around. The media's throwing it around. The Democrats are throwing it around, and it's important to understand what impeachment actually is. So here is the dictionary / textbook definition of impeachment. So to impeach, to bring an accusation against, to charge with a crime or a misdemeanor, to charge before a competent tribunal with misconduct in office, to cast doubt, to challenge the credibility or validity. Those are the definitions of impeach. So now I'm going to read an article which will be the basis of this video, and which is where I got the title from. This article is actually about 2 years old, and it was written around the whole James Comey fiasco when President Trump fired James Comey. There was talk of impeachment back then, and this article, it actually comes from the Examiner. And so here in DC, at the metro stops in the morning, they hand out these free newspapers called the Examiners, or the Examiner. The Examiner Express, I was looking for one to see if I had one to show you, but they hand these papers out, and I was flipping through this particular morning. I don't read them every morning, but I settled on this article here under Nation Plus World, and the article is called Rules of Impeachment. And this is the picture, or should I say one of the pictures you saw in the opening of the video, which was this article. This was written by Peter W. Stevenson of the Washington Post. It's a short article, so I'm going to read it right now. So it says, Rules of Impeachment. Lawmakers are using the I word more often, but it's unlikely they will be able to oust Trump. So this video is about, this article is about 2 years old, but it's valuable because it spells out the steps to impeachment. And it really gives the reader a feel for, okay, this word is being thrown around, but the president's detractors want him out of office, but this article gives the reader a feel for what impeachment actually is, and also if the impeachment itself will get the president out of office or if there are other steps that are needed. So here we go. As the backlash over President Trump's various controversial decisions escalates, his firing of FBI Director James Comey and divulging of classified secrets to Russian officials, to name just two, Trump's critics are starting to use the I word more and more. Representative Maxine Waters, the Democrat from California, said last month that she will fight every day until he is impeached. Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat from Connecticut, said last week that Trump's actions may well produce impeachment proceedings. Other Democrats have repeatedly echoed their thoughts. And now it's not just Democrats. Representative Justin Amash, a Republican from Michigan, was asked by reporters Wednesday whether, if reports that Trump asked Comey to drop his investigation of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn are true, Trump's actions are grounds for impeachment. Amash paused and responded, yes. His comments were a full-throated call for impeachment, but they are significant coming from a conservative congressman from the Midwest. But impeaching Trump isn't as simple as Democrats deciding they don't like him. First, it's a relatively lengthy legal process. And no president has ever actually been removed from office. Second, removal from office requires a vote of 2/3 of the Senate and Republicans still broadly support him. Let's be clear, Trump hasn't been accused of any crimes. His opponents say he's unfit for office, but that's a judgment call, not a standard by which presidents can be impeached. Legal analysts say Trump may have obstructed justice if he asked Comey to drop his investigation of Flynn, but caution that proving intent is key in obstruction of justice cases. In the end, it comes down to members of Congress deciding that Trump did something that meets constitutional requirements for impeachment. The Constitution states, the President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office of impeachment for, office on impeachment for, and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. But how high crimes and misdemeanors are defined is largely up to House members themselves. Actually, removing a president from office is a three-step process. First, a majority of the House of Representatives would have to vote in favor of impeachment. That means, as of today, 25 Republicans would have to vote to impeach Trump, which doesn't seem likely. Second, the president would face trial in the Senate. Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. would preside over the trial. Third, 2/3 of the Senate would have to vote in favor of conviction for Trump to be removed from office. A pretty high bar. Again, that's 2/3. That's a pretty high bar given that it's hard to even get the 60 votes needed to overcome a legislative filibuster these days. And history is on Trump's side. Only 2 presidents have been impeached. Andrew Johnson in 1868 and Bill Clinton in 1998. So those were 130 years apart. Both were acquitted and remained in office. In perhaps the most famous presidential scandal in U.S. history, the president wasn't impeached. When Richard Nixon left office in 1974, he faced almost certain impeachment. But he chose to resign instead, handing the presidency to Gerald Ford. Johnson, Nixon, and Clinton were accused of transgressions for which there was publicly revealed evidence. While scandals swirled around all three, and their political opponents howled for their ouster, none was actually removed by the political process laid out in the Constitution. And as long as Trump retains the backing of Congress, he's very unlikely to be removed either. So from that article, when I read it, I gleaned that just because a president is impeached doesn't mean that he's going to be removed from office. So that suggests that a lot of this is just for show, and just for show of opposition to the president. And it really makes you wonder what all of this is for. And I'm going to close this video by showing another screenshot of from Twitter of someone else that I followed. This is from the Black Authority, and the Black Authority is this person has a YouTube channel which I listen to sometimes, and he's very pro reparations. And I'm showing this not to say that I'm pro reparations or I necessarily align with everything the Black Authority says, but just to give a feel for the level of complexity of what's happening now. And once again, as I said in an earlier video, the seeds for the 2020 election are kind of being planted right now. So this is the Black Authority's tweet right here, and I'll see you on the next side of this picture. So that was the Black Authority's tweet, and he basically said, you know, that in terms of the black community and the black vote, that this whole impeachment business is like a boogeyman, and it's being used to basically galvanize support for the Democratic side, and it's being used to kind of divert attention over here. Because Trump is a racist, Trump is a bigot, the white supremacy piece, that's a real thing. That feeling, that sentiment, that's a real palpable thing. But he's saying, we don't care about that. We want reparations, cut the check, unless you show some a black agenda or some tangibles for black people. We're not voting Democratic. So that makes you wonder, again, this impeachment thing, whether you're for something like reparations or not, is this just some sort of diversion, or is this just some sort of spectacle or show for the sake of having a spectacle or a show, or to demonstrate or give the appearance that President Trump is being defied at all costs? Because as this article I just read said, impeachment doesn't necessarily equal removal. So I'm going to end this video here. That's what I wanted to say. You can let me know what you think, or please let me know what you think in the comments section below this video. Thank you for watching. I know this is a volatile subject, but one of my principles is critical thought, and so some of these issues, it's good to discuss them. In any case, thank you for watching. Please like the video, please share it, please subscribe to the channel, and once again, always remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.